I think we have everybody with us. City staff members, we have Chris Schmidt, Andy Flower, Kim Cole, and Christy Davy. Do you want to do a roll call?
Yes, sorry about that. My computer froze up there. Let me pull this up for the roll call. So Chair Carter.
Here.
Vice Chair Blue.
Here.
Committee Member Connor.
Here.
Committee Member Hunter.
Present.
Committee Member Polly. Committee Member Rath.
Here.
And Committee Member Tregenza.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. We're going to open the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of the July 15th minutes. Is there anybody who would like to discuss anything on the consent agenda? Nope. Okay. I'll take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the minutes as written.
Okay,
I'll second that.
great. That was motion by Linda, second by Bob. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, we need a roll call vote. I'm sorry, that's my fault.
Not a problem. So let me do one more roll call on this one. Chair Carter.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blue.
Aye.
Committee Member Connor.
Aye.
Committee Member Hunter.
Abstain.
Okay. Committee Member Polly. Absent. Committee Member Rath.
Aye.
And Committee Member Tregenza.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great. We're now going to open the agenda for public comments. This is for items not on the agenda.
All right, let me just give a quick announcement here in regards to public comment. We encourage members of the public to watch this broadcast on YouTube Live, which has a short delay of approximately 10 seconds. You can watch at youtube.com/City of Monterey or on the YouTube app or Google Play. And then to make a public comment when watching, you want to dial in, and the phone number for dial in is 831-582-6500. Once you have entered the system, dial *5 to raise your hand, and you'll be added to the queue to speak. And when we check the public comment, we will announce you by the last 4 digits of your phone number to speak. And let me just check that queue right here. It looks like we don't have anyone on the public comments at this point in time. We may want to give it a minute or two and just see if anything pops up.
Okay. Also, I'm watching the live stream on YouTube and it's really blurry. So I don't know if there's a way to get that clarified. The picture isn't clear. That's better. Okay, great. Thank you.
Perfect. And I'll take another look here, and we still don't have any public comment at this time.
Okay, great. Then we'll go on to our public appearance item. The first item is consider 816 Lily Street Architecture Review Application ARP-19-0306 to allow a first story addition and deck. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My name is Chris Schmidt. I'm a senior associate planner for the city, and I had been working with the applicant and the neighbors on this project. So I will present my screen now. Yeah, so we are looking at a first-story addition and deck at the home at 816 Lily Street. Staff's recommendation is to approve the project. And just some background information. It's located in New Monterey. It's zoned R15 and has a general plan density of low density residential. And it contains an existing single-story, single-family residence. Just some background information as to why we are here. So this type of project is eligible for administrative approval. In September of 2019, the project was administratively approved by myself without sending the required notices and the required story polls. So in June of this year, the neighbor next door at 824 Lily Street contacted staff to ask about noticing because she had realized that the neighbor had the neighbor's contractor had started work. They had basically started building the foundation at that point. Staff realized that the notices and the story poles were not constructed and immediately issued a stop work order. Those story poles were constructed and the notices were sent for an administrative review. That's a 10-day review period. And during that review period, any interested party can request that the ARC review the project. So the neighbor did review the project, or excuse me, refer the project. And then I just wanted to take this opportunity take a learning opportunity to explain the noticing requirements for the ARC and those who are interested. So as I mentioned, single-story additions typically can be administratively approved. Any project that involves the construction of a new building or an increase in height or floor area requires noticing, a 10-day noticing period where neighbors can refer the project, as I mentioned. And then any project that involves an increase in height or greater than 1 story or anything like that requires story poles. And then anything greater than 1 story typically goes to the ARC, which is what the ARC is more familiar with. So moving on to the project, I just wanted to include this to show that the project is consistent with the zoning ordinance development standards. Here we see the existing project site. The existing home is highlighted in orange. You will note the neighbor who referred the project is on the north side, and this survey shows kind of the edge of her home there. So here we see the existing and proposed floor plans, the proposed in the purple color. So they're doing a modest 477 square foot addition and a 246 square foot deck at the rear. They're adding just a little bit of floor area, a new bedroom, essentially. So here is the existing front facade of the home. And we see the proposed elevations. So on the top left, you see the rear elevation. They're adding a new gable at the rear. And you can see the increase in height on the bottom left photo, elevation, showing that gable increase in height. The applicant also provided these conceptual renderings that show the development in a 3D view. And the exterior materials are proposed to match the existing home. Now, there were impacts identified by the neighbor at 824 Lily Street. She had concern for the loss of view of the south trees from her second level deck, and I guess second level windows as well. Also concern for privacy impacts and noise impacts due to construction. So the neighbor did provide some photos, and I will move on to those, but this is her home. And as I mentioned, it's to the north of the project site. It's a 2-story addition on a fairly narrow lot, so they are fairly close together. Oh no, didn't show this. So here are some of the photos provided by the neighbor, and I had put in some polygons to show the project site, but they're not appearing now. So here's the project site highlighted in this kind of turquoise color, and then the neighbor's property is here. And so this is a view from a second-story deck looking at the project site in existing condition. This is a similar view. I think it's a seated view. And you can see these are the trees that the neighbor are concerned for losing her view of. It's a similar view. And then here's the view from her rear yard, showing the impact of the height of the structure. Now I did, on the following slides, I received some photos from the applicant's or the homeowner's representative. He provided these in his letter that was forwarded to the ARC, but the purpose here was to just show the existing views that the neighbor has from her home. And you can see here that she does have views of the bay, although these photos were taken from Redfin Real Estate. So they're not the current photos. There's potentially that tree may have grown. I don't think there have been any additions that block the view, but I just wanted to show that as well. The homeowner's representative also provided this photo showing the second-story deck, and on the first story there's a window there that basically both line up with the extent of the development at the rear. And then also just wanted to show the interior, where the windows are. You can see they're above the stair there, and I believe the deck is in this location here. He also provided a view of the neighbor on the other side's property. So in order to approve the project, the ARC has to make 4 findings. The first being that the proposed siting, form, mass, and architectural style are appropriate. Staff was able to make this finding. The development meets the development standards required by the zoning ordinance. The addition is single-family residential in character. It is compatible with the existing home in the surrounding area, and matches the existing home style. The next finding is that the views, privacy, and living environment are not impaired. We did identify view and privacy impacts. No impact to the northeast bay and landscape views were identified. And there's a temporary impact to the living environment due to construction. The project staff found that the project does not unreasonably impact views or privacy or the living environment. The next 2 findings are that the project is consistent with city plans and design guidelines, which staff was able to make that finding, and included some examples within the staff report. And then lastly, that the project is exterior finish, colors, materials, and other features are appropriate for the design and architecture of Monterey and the new Monterey neighborhood, which staff was able to find. So again, staff recommends approval of the project. I am available for questions. The applicant's representative, Mr. Bird, I believe should be calling in, and then the neighbor, Ms. Badan, will call in as well. Thank you.
Other questions for Chris?
I've got just a couple. I think one will be straightforward. The other one, I'll give my best shot at. So the first being, when did construction start on the project? Do we know that?
I believe that it started in June, the end of June. So we received the call from Ms. Badan at the end of June. I think it was June 29th or 30th. And at that time, you can see some of the photos. The contractor had started just a bit of the site work. You can see the foundation
Right.
here. So that's the extent of the work that had started.
Okay. And thank you. And then the second question I had was, assuming this was an administrative, I mean, it sounds like this qualified for an administrative review. How long in total would that process have gone? Like once the story polls, so if that had all gone like smoothly or as it should have, the noticing and story polls, I guess how long does that process typically take?
Yeah, so at the point that staff finds that the project is complete and we do not need any more information, no new set of plans or changes on the plans, at that point we ask that the applicants construct the story poles. We send those notices in the mail asking for comments or if anybody wants to refer the project. If we do not receive any comments or referrals, we will approve the project. And typically they can apply for a building permit. A lot of people will apply for the building permit at the same time. And if both the planning permit and the building permit are approved around the same time, they can start construction right away.
And so that whole process, I guess, itself, I guess, is dependent to some degree on the applicant. But the story polls would be up for 10 days, as well as the notice would give neighbors 10 days to object.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there other questions? Okay. Would the applicant like to make a presentation? Did you say they were going to call in, Chris?
They did say they would call in,
Okay.
and I do have some materials that they've requested I present. So let me pull those up.
And just to announce, we do have a caller. I can check and touch base and see if it is the applicant.
That'd be great.
Sure, just one moment. Okay, it does appear that we have someone that is calling for the applicant. So if we're okay, we'll go ahead and put the person through.
That'd be great.
Thank you. And caller 5504, you are on with the Architectural Review Committee.
Great, thank you, and I appreciate your time today. My name is Dan Bird. I'm the owner's son. We're no longer in contract with Kent Knoll, who did the design for us. So I'm calling in on behalf of Carolee Bird and Mary Ellen Eglinton. As you can see, Chris went through some of the pictures and key takeaways that we had provided for him, realizing that, when we put together this edition, it was really to be the least impactful edition on the block. And we looked to both fit in with the existing neighborhood, but also one that would apply to accessibility and a spare bedroom for my mother and mother-in-law. And so given that they are on a fixed income, we followed the permit process, we followed the instructions, we went through the bidding process. We hired a local contractor, KR Construction, to keep the work and support local jobs during this. And we did start the construction, as you can see, with the foundational work that was done, at which point we were notified of the red tag process and this process. We're unaware of any legal issues. We're unaware of any architectural issues that would impede our progress further. As you can see the view to the south, you can still get a view of the trees over the existing story poles. The story poles likely are a little bit higher given they have to, hold up the orange tape. And we look forward to having them retire in the community. I live down the street on Gibson, and I can't imagine why this would be delayed any further. We do fear that pushing out the construction further will cause a financial impact to these retirees who are on a fixed income, but also any delay would then push it to winter, which may cause more and other delays, which would further impede on the complaining neighbor. So with that, I will just thank you. Stay safe, and if there's any questions, please let me know.
Are there any questions for the applicant? I don't see any. Thank you for calling in.
Appreciate your time. Take care.
Okay, do we have any other public comments?
We do not have any other public comment at this time, but I'll take the opportunity to announce the dial-in number. And one item I did want to mention in regards to public comment that we do have a 3-minute time limit. So once we do announce you by the last 4 digits of your phone number and welcome you to the call, we will pull the timer up on the screen to monitor. And our dial-in number again is 831-582-6500. Once again, that's 831-582-6500. And it appears as of right now, we don't have anyone else on the call.
Okay, we will continue on, and then if someone calls in, we'll hear their public comments.
Sounds good. Oh, it looks like we just had someone enter the call. Give me just one moment. Okay.
The magic sound.
All right. Hi there. Welcome to the Architectural Review Committee meeting, and you're on with public comment. Is this caller 2167?
I'm the lady. No, I'm sorry. I'm the lady next door.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're good. You're here for the public comment portion?
I'm the lady who's objecting.
Oh, okay. Well, you're on with.
I think I jumped the gun. Should I start anyway? Or do you want to wait to see if there's someone else?
It looks like you're the only one right now, and it looks like for the committee members, we're getting the green light to go ahead and speak.
Great.
Yes.
And you can hear me all right, is that correct?
Looks like it. Can everyone hear the public comment okay, or the information? Perfect. Thank you. And you're on.
Fantastic. Well,
Just 3 minutes.
thank you so much. Just for the record, I am Catherine Badan, living at 824 Lily Street. And first, I'd like to sincerely thank all the committee members for listening to my objections regarding this proposed project. I very much appreciate your time today, and I'm also on a fixed income. To begin, I moved to this property because it's in a very quiet neighborhood, and as I am a writer, I need to live in a quiet environment in which to work. I have several concerns, which I will outline. The first being that the proposed renovation will block literally a half of my view from my upstairs balcony, including completely blocking the view of the hills and trees. Also, their house is so close to mine that the addition, being almost a foot higher, will in effect be right in my face. From my downstairs back patio, the view of the hills and trees would also be completely obliterated, so that instead of an expansive view of the trees in the distance, their addition will again be right in my face. Secondly, and I feel more significant, is I suffer from clinically diagnosed complex PTSD, as well as misophonia disorder, which is a noise disorder that can cause psychological damage, and which is why it is so vital to me to live in a quiet neighborhood. Concurrent with my mental disabilities, which I normally don't share, but I felt it was appropriate, we are still in the middle of the COVID pandemic with increasing spikes of COVID cases. Most people on my block are over 60, and we are still sheltering in place as required by Governor Newsom. Therefore, I think it's very unfair that any long-term heavy construction be imposed on our quiet neighborhood until the COVID pandemic is more under control. Also, I I feel it's unfortunate that County Health official Dr. Moreno has not taken into account people with mental disabilities. As Mayor Clyde confirmed with me by email, and I would quote, "The impacts of the pandemic on mental health are of a serious concern." Plus, we were not given proper notice, and if their permit is approved now, I will actually be in the position of having to pack up all my belongings, sell my house, and relocate, as I simply cannot take 6 months of construction noise, because it is imperative that I take care of myself. And of course, this will be highly stressful in itself, and therefore I am asking for more time. And finally, if we had all been given proper notice, I would have had time to prepare to move. The owners, however, did not inform me of the upcoming project, and in fact, I only found out about it by asking their contractor, who was on their property working on a new deck. And quite frankly, I do not feel it has been handled appropriately, as not only will it seriously affect my views, but we are all still sheltering in place, and it is just not fair to do this to us at a time when we cannot safely leave our homes yet. I therefore request that this proposed project be delayed at least until COVID cases have subsided. I thank you so much for your time and kind consideration and hearing my objections. And as Chris Schmidt so wonderfully states in his emails, stay home, save lives, and meet the moment, which is what I'm asking you all to do. Thank you for your time.
You are last party in the conference. You will hear silence until the conference.
And just heads up, that looks like that was the last of our public comment for the time being.
Great, thank you. We will start with committee comments. Who would like to start?
I'll start. So I've been by the property several times this week. It happens to be on my run route. And I think the proposed project is reasonable. It does fit in with the neighborhood. To me, it has not a lot of impact. In fact, you can barely see it from the street side. You can see it from I guess it's the east side or to the right when you're facing it, and behind if you go up to the next street, but it's not very visible. I do feel for the neighbor and the impact on her and her concerns, but I think this is a reasonable project. There is other construction nearby that's going on right now, but it's not, I don't know how loud it is. I can't hear it from my house, but I'm not sure that that is a reason to deny this request. That's all I have.
And I did just want to interject quickly and announce that we do have another public comment.
Let's hear it.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and connect them. Give me just one moment. And hello, caller whose phone number ends in 9886. You are on for public comment with the Architectural Review Committee. And hello, caller whose phone number ends in 9886. You are on public comment with the Architectural Review Committee.
Hello.
Hello. And caller 9886, if it is possible for you to take a step away from the device you're watching in the meeting on, we're getting a little bit of feedback.
No. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, it looks like everyone can hear you.
Okay. My name is Cynthia Schmidlin, and I am at 832 Lily, which is on the other side of Catherine Baden's home at 824. So I am 2 houses up from the proposed construction. And I'm just calling to make a few comments. I understand that, the homeowners' right to expand their property. And I'm not objecting to that, although the noise will be difficult during our shelter in place. I'm just calling in support of the fact that Ms. Baden has a reversed floor plan so that the balcony from which she views those trees is on her, off of her living room, dining room area. So even though it's on the second floor, it's on her main floor. And she spends a lot of time out there, and it's very important to her. So the issue of that view being impeded is important to her, and it would change the nature of the view for the house that she spent a lot of money buying. And I know she is very sensitive to noise, but I don't know whether that might be a factor that you would take into consideration. I just wanted to, make my comments in support of what I've observed from what she'd be losing for a view. As far as my situation, I would have to endure the noise. And that's all that I have to say.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
You are the last party in the conference. You will hear silence until the...
And just double checking, that was all on the public comment for now, but I'll let you know if we hear any other call-ins.
Great, thank you. Who would like to go next?
I'll go briefly.
Sure.
I agree that this is really amounts to a pretty modest addition, and I certainly empathize with the neighbors and noise, as someone who also works from home, and there's a lot of construction going on, right now. I empathize with that, but I also and I understand that there was some difficulties with the notices, but I don't know that would have delayed the project, much more than kind of the time that it's taken right now to review. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. And again, I think it's as far as the impact on the neighborhood, it does appear to fit in generally with the neighborhood, and I think it's a good addition.
This is Patrick Tregenza. I agree with Shannon. And, it's unfortunate that the noticing and the story polls weren't done, according to how they're supposed to be done. But we can't, blame the applicant for that, or they shouldn't be, have to postpone any further because of that. I think it's a very modest addition. I've lived next door to construction projects, and it's it's never ideal, especially when you're kind of stuck at home these days. But they have the right to do it, and I don't think it's impacting views that badly. It meets all the requirements. So yeah, that's what I had to say. Thank you.
I don't feel like I need to add anything else. So if there aren't any other comments, then I'll take a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the project at 816 Lily Street, AR Architecture Review Application ARP 19-0306.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great, thank you. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Okay. Chair Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Bluth,
Aye.
Committee Member Connor,
Aye.
Committee Member Hunter,
Aye.
Committee Member Rath,
Aye.
and Committee Member Tregenza.
All right.
Thank you.
So that motion carries, and that may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 10 days. Are there any other committee comments?
Comments in general?
Yeah.
So my term has expired or is expiring, and I've decided not to reapply. So this will be my last meeting. I've really enjoyed working with city staff on this committee. I've learned a ton about Monterey, and it's been a pleasure working with everybody, including committee members and staff and the public. So I just wanted to wish everybody good luck in the future, and I'll keep tabs.
Thank you for your service to the city, Linda.
Okay.
Welcome.
Take care. Stay in touch.
Thanks, Linda.
Linda, great to meet you and work with you.
Thank you.
We'll keep an eye for you around town running.
Yeah, I'll be around. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda. We really appreciate your tenure here.
Thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
I have one. So the city is giving city commissioners and city council members the option to contribute their stipends to the city's reopen and rehire fund. And I have made that commitment to do so, to give my commissions, my city commission stipend back to the city for that reason. So I would encourage you all to consider that as part of being just part of the difficult times that we're going through and serving the city. And I think it's a really important gesture during these times. So if any of you want to do that, you can reach out to city staff, and I'm sure they'll help make that happen. And I think that's all I have right now.
I've got a question, and if you don't mind me jumping in here, it's a procedural thing. It's like a Robert's Rules of Order thing. Typically, when I've been on committees before, we have comment after a motion and a second. And it seems like with this committee, we just go right to a vote. And I'm not sure, like, we open it up for comment and then somebody makes a motion and then we go right to a vote. And I know last meeting, there was a motion that I maybe didn't quite think went the way I thought it was going to go, and there was no comment period, and we went right to a vote. And I was like, huh, that was weird, because I thought normally we would comment on the motion, discuss it amongst ourselves, let the other members know which way we were planning on voting even before we actually took the vote. So if maybe Andy or Kim or somebody could talk about that, I'd appreciate it.
So if I could just present real quick.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. So I just want to show within our meeting procedures, we do have the ability to discuss after second and before vote. So maybe in the future, I think this is a good point that we could just make it clear that that option is available.
If that's something that the committee would prefer to do, I'm happy to totally do however much discussion you would like. I've always done meetings where you do motion second discussion, and then I came to ARC and nobody was doing that. So I was sort of following my predecessors, but I'm happy to go back to motion second discussion, then vote.
At least for my opinion, I think, if we have the motion and the second, at least open up, are there any points of discussion? If there are, fine, we go ahead and have it, and if not, we can proceed to the vote. But I think we ought to present that option after the motion has been made and seconded. That's my opinion.
And Chair, if I may have another announcement?
Yeah.
May I present again? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, Linda. Just wanted to make it official. And I also want to make it clear that that does mean that we do have a space not only on the architectural review committee, but our clerk also wanted me to spread the word that we also have an opening, at least one, on both the Building and Housing Appeals Board and our Disabled Access Appeals Board. So if somebody would like to apply for those, The easiest way is to do it online. And if you were to use your search engine and ask for boards and commission application, it would bring you to this page, which is monterey.org /cityhall/boards, commissions, and committees. And you can see here there's an application form. And once you fill that out, you can mail it in, or the easiest way is to just apply online. So you can print out the PDF, fill it out, send it to the clerk's office, or you could drop it at the secure box outside the chamber entrance. So I'm available if anybody has any questions about that.
Are there any other questions?
I have one question. Hopefully it's a quick one. I saw that 415 Spencer appeal is on again. I was just wondering, I thought that went through planning, or planning already approved the appeal. So I was just curious why that one is back.
May I answer, Chair Carter? So that is the chain of events. So just as applicants have an opportunity, or anyone has an opportunity to approve, or excuse me, to appeal an architectural review decision, yes. Similarly, anyone can also appeal a planning commission decision, and then the next step is to go to council. So yes, that is now scheduled for council for September 1st.
Okay, right, council, got it. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
And ARC members are welcome to make comment at council hearings.
Good to know.
And again, that's September 1st, I believe. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yes.
Hi, this is Kim Cole, the Community Development Director. I just need to clarify one point. If you do choose to go to the City Council, usually that's the chair that is representing the Architectural Review Committee decision. And it's not really appropriate for a commissioner to go and suggest a different viewpoint. So that hasn't come up in a long time. It's important to know that if the chair does decide to represent at either a different appellate body, they're representing the decision of the Architectural Review Committee. And in some cases, our chairs have actually voted against that. And it puts them, in the role of representing the Architectural Review Committee if they choose to do that. Sorry, I just want to make that clarification because it comes up occasionally.
So
Thanks,
Kim, as I just have quite a follow-on question. So as residents, do they have the ability to comment at they just have to make it clear that they are sharing their opinion as a resident and not representing the committee? Is that?
Sure, if people are making their own individual opinion, you would just need to state my name, my name is X and I'm speaking as an individual. But you do need to clarify who and what you're representing.
Thank you, Kim.
Anybody else? Okay, we will adjourn our meeting at 4:43. Thank you all.